What up, roomies? We're in a time right now where people are more connected than ever, but somehow we feel alone more than ever. Dating apps, social medias, DMs, everything is digital, but a real connection, that's rare. Today's guest is someone who's trying to change all of that in real life. She's an event producer, entrepreneur, and she would call herself a connection architect, creating spaces where strangers walk in and they actually leave with real relationships. We're going to talk about the psychology behind that, what it really takes to build a community from scratch, and why getting people off their phones might be harder than building a business. Molly, welcome to the neighbors. Ugh.
Hi, nice to be here.
Thank you, thank you. I really appreciate you being here, and I know the roomies are going to take a lot out of this, but I do apologize for me being so tongue twisted in the beginning. But
It's all good.
we're gonna get this thing moving, and I'm gonna hit you with the hard questions first, right?
Deal.
All right. Why do
I
you
can do
think?
it.
All right, you got this. Why do you think people today struggle so much with real life connection?
Oh gosh, there are so many factors there. I think the big one is a lot of the people, I mean, we have changed to a digital age. Everybody's on their computers, everybody's working from their computers, and meeting in person has just been kind of outsourced to the apps. They've been outsourced to Tinder or Bumble, and now all of those even have make a friend on Tinder or Bumble, and everything is just digital, and they don't. It's just not the same vibe. You don't get the energy. You don't get the face to face, the feel.
Well,
And yeah, it's just becoming more and more detrimental to the mental and emotional state of a lot of people today. I'm in my 40s, and trying to date on the apps is miserable.
I believe it.
And yeah,
I
it
believe it.
is it is not fun. Um, but it's the way it is. Like it has evolved to what we have today, and I think we need something better. I think we need to bring back the in person. We need to bring back that energy and the face to face connection.
I feel you on that 100%. Do you think like because of the fact that we don't get a lot of like human to human interaction that it's causing like more depression and stuff like that too? Because a lot of people are becoming like isolated and solitary
Hmm.
versus like we're human, so we're supposed to like thrive in a community.
Hmm.
You get
Yeah,
what
I
I
mean,
mean?
it's human nature to have a tribe, to have your people, and when you're stuck on a screen, I mean, it's a fact. We share energy. We are not just, we are not mechanical. We have energy. We put off energy. We intake energy. So being around people, sharing their energy is and can be healing to our bodies and our minds and our psyche. And so when we're missing that, it's human nature to need that. And it's depriving us of that healing and of that connection and that energy sharing.
Not for you on that. That's 100%. And what led you into like making these events and getting into that space?
Uh, well, I have been single for 13 years, and I've been on and off the apps. I've dated some, but last year I was running with some single friends. We were talking about the apps and how I know I personally get super I change when I get on the apps. I become judgmental. The smallest thing will make me, swipe left. He has a beard, swipe left. His eye was going the wrong way, swipe left. Like just so judgmental when I'm
Oh,
on the apps because it's so
we're
easy.
definitely gonna get into that once we're definitely gonna get into it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
just
got
so
questions.
easy. Okay, but so we were talking about the apps and how I'm just off of it,
Yeah,
and we were running on a trail. We are runners, and so then my thought process was, if I want to meet other runners that I know are single, let's create a space for that. So I had a 5K that was a singles 5K, and it brought in 100, almost 100 people, singles.
fire.
Everyone was single, and we had so much fun. And from that, everyone was saying, we need this, we want this, we're looking for this community. And then I linked up with a matchmaker friend, and she also has the same opinion that the apps are a great tool, but they should not be the end all be all of meeting people.
True on
And
that.
so from that, I just started doing other events like volleyball and basketball meetups and paint nights, all, whatever I can do to different experiences that different people enjoy.
That's fire. And like, what's like the turnout? Like, what? Take me through like one of your events if I was there.
Okay. So we just had a really fun volleyball,
Oh,
and I book the courts, and then I sell tickets to the events, and people show up. I try to get a good balance of male, female. They'll show up, they'll check in, they'll get their name tags. We'll do an icebreaker to kind of just make everybody a little bit more comfortable with the whole situation. And then as we're playing, I assign them different courts and try to make sure that it's a good mix of men and women. If people come as friends, I split them up because we're here to connect. We're here to meet new people. We're not here
yeah,
to stick with the people we know, right? Let's get uncomfortable a little bit. So I make sure I mix them all up, and then 20 minutes, half hour in, I mix them up again, and then I do it again and again. So they get the opportunity to really connect with multiple people. And then at the end, I I'll usually do prizes because I try to, make it fun and
yeah,
interesting. But also, I give them the opportunity and the kind of just the little shove of, you're here to meet people, share your information. If you connected with somebody, give them your Instagram. If you don't want to give them their number, at least share your socials or share something so you guys connect afterwards,
yeah,
because that's why you're here. So utilize it. So it gets people, it makes them a little bit more brave, a little bit more, you know, uninhibited.
yeah.
First, we've spent all 2 hours mingling and playing and high fiving and cajoling, and then at the end, that's another little push of, she told me to do it, so it's okay.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah.
And do you see that like because of the fact that everybody's live and in person, that the energy
Mhm.
is different from like let's say Tinder or Bumble?
Oh, very different. Well, I kind of like I was talking about earlier, I know for me, Tinder, Bumble, I get in this mind space of, okay, I have these things I'm checking off my list. I'm having like this, and he has to spell words right. He has to use different things. One, I get judgmental, and then I get very self-conscious as well. So it's making me a mean person. Then it's also making me feel bad about myself.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a horrible little thing that happens in my brain when I'm on the apps. But when I'm in person, especially with these, when I give them challenges and we're all there for the same purpose, and we're all sharing the same energy, and we all get it. It's a magic that happens when we can get everybody together in this positive, safe, comfortable atmosphere to be themselves and just to be who they want to be. That's when really you're going to meet your person, is when you can just relax, chill. This is me. I'm enjoying myself. That's where it's going to happen.
that's where the true magic is because you feel the
Yeah.
person's energy, you get a vibe
Hmm.
with them, and you could also weed out who you really don't, because on the apps
Exactly.
the person could present themselves one way, and then when you meet up with them in real life, they're like, I'm not really feeling your vibe, or you're giving me the creeps and stuff. You know what I mean?
We've all
We're,
been there. Absolutely.
yeah, we've all been there where you're just like, I don't know if I want to be in this situation any longer right now. So,
Right. I've also been in the situation where I'll be on the apps and I'll be swiping and I'll look at someone, right? And because that's your first impression, the picture.
yeah,
And I'll be like, not really. But second guessing myself, if I were to meet this person in real life, I probably would not see that flaw. I would feel their energy, see their smile, make eye contact, totally skip over all of that superficial stuff and get to know them and probably get along with them. But on the app, I
yeah,
can just swipe away,
yeah, because
and
like because everything
too
is like
dismissive.
instant and all that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
it's like you
very.
could pick and choose who you want to deal with, but in real life, it's a little. You could still pick and choose who you want to deal with, but like um, it's different because now it's like you get a sense for the actual person, not just the looks.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. It's multiple layers versus that one layer that you're looking at the apps.
All right. So when you started the first event, which was the 5K, right? Did
Yeah.
you expect the turnout to be as big as it was?
I didn't know what to expect. I just hoped that people would buy into this weird idea of singles getting together. And not that like in my brain it's not weird. I've been planning events since I put on my first one in 2005 and absolutely love it. I was hooked. I have been doing them ever since, some as fundraisers, some for a living, some as other jobs. Um, so in my mind, of course, who wouldn't want to show up to it? So I would have loved it to be bigger, but 100 people, I was thrilled with the outcome.
Not,
Thrilled.
that's amazing for your first time.
Yeah.
That's amazing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and especially as a 5K, but I mean, here we have a really good running community, and
Mhm.
so it worked well. But yes, I think having that many for a first time event is excellent.
That's amazing. And then on top of that, you're also capitalizing on something that, people are missing right now. You've experienced it, of course. I've experienced it, of course. And it's that human interaction. And people, I don't understand why people don't stress the importance of it. But
Mhm.
when you, when you're like overseeing these events, do you see like how important that connection is and like how people feel and like the atmosphere, how the atmosphere changes?
Yeah, it's amazing to see everybody show up and they're a little bit timid, a little bit shy, a little bit afraid to, you know, make any kind of moves or say anything weird. But once we get into, I give a name tag, I give a challenge, I challenge them to say hello. And once they say hello and start participating, doing the things, whether it's a painting or a game or rolling the dice or serving, um, it's amazing the change that happens just to their energy personally. Like you can just see their face changes, their body language changes because they're like, okay, like we got this, like we can relax, we can do our thing. And by the end, you're high fiving, you're exchanging information. Yeah, it's I keep using the word amazing because it is, but I just love the magic that happens and the inspiration, like for me, to keep doing what I'm doing.
Not it is it's absolutely amazing. So what's been like your favorite event that you've thrown so far?
Oh gosh. Um, I mean, because they're all so different, it's hard to pick a favorite, but there've been, we had one karaoke night that we really got everybody just involved. We had the whole room, everybody was up and dancing and singing along and super excited. And you could just feel it. You could feel the like almost the vibration of the room.
Yeah.
It was so cool. That was a karaoke event. Volleyball, this most recent volleyball, I had two courts and we had almost 20, I think we had 24 people show up. We were packed 6 on 6 on two courts. And everybody was just, I don't know, when people say yes and participate, it makes it not only for you the experience better, but for everyone else. So they show up and I give them their assignments and they ask questions or whatever. And then I tell them it's time and they're like, oh no. And then I count them off and they're just ready, right back playing again and ready to just say yes to the experience. Yeah, so the difference between when they start and when they finish, and I don't know. Those are probably my two favorite, but I've done several and they all make a different impact. There was a painting one that had like 50 people and we rotate people throughout to keep them mingling with multiple partners. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's so dope. And what's your karaoke song?
Oh gosh, I love me some Alanis Morissette.
Okay.
I love Mary Jane. Sometimes I get to do the angry ones. Jagged Little Pill, like the whole album of Jagged Little Pill, I will
Yeah.
do. Yeah.
Fire. Fire. That's dope. That's dope. And like when you're like planning these events, what like are your determining factors on like what kind of event you're gonna be planning?
um, some of it is it going to it is going to fly. If will people be interested in it?
Yeah.
Some of it is location specific. I really just go through my Rolodex of what kind of events would I like to do, what I like to participate, and how I would like to meet other people. And then I try to make it into an event. I've also taken some people, like some of the attendees have sent ideas, and I've turned those into events. So I actually just reached out to this company here. It's called, oh gosh, Slick City. It's called Slick City, and they do you guys have a Slick City?
No, no, we don't.
No, but it's like it's kind of an adult playground, but you can also have there's little kid area too. So I'm going to plan a single parent event to get single
Okay.
parents involved, right? So I just want to make sure that we have a variety of events because we all there's different interests and everybody likes different things, of course. So I want to connect people with the people that have the same interests because that's another layer of fear that gets removed when you show up to these events. One, we already know you're single. Two,
Mm,
we already know you're interested in this thing that we are doing.
true.
And then, yeah, and so if I can remove all of those layers, it just helps them open up faster and easier to be their authentic self.
Now I feel you on that. And what's like the biggest fear that most people have when they walk into like one of your events? Because I know they're gonna be split up from their friends, and and
Hmm.
they're gonna be put with people that they really don't know. And I know sometimes guys get a little shy,
They
trying
do.
to. Yeah, we do. I'm not even gonna lie about that. We do.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
what's like the biggest fear that people usually have there, like when they just walk in?
I think most people are just afraid to look bad. They're afraid that they are going to say the wrong thing, or they're going to look the wrong way, or they're going to um, not stand out like they should. Like there are a lot of different fears involved when you walk into a place, and um, I'm afraid they're not going to want to talk to me. I get that a lot. So and it really depends on the person. I think men are more afraid of looking like a fool. They're more afraid of just looking bad. I screwed up. I was awkward, whatever. And women are more afraid of, um, they're more self conscious of, did I dress right? Am I going to say the right thing? Am I going to flirt the right way? So
Yeah,
it's just different for different attendees.
that's dope. That's dope. And how long do you usually see like from like people walking into like the event, like actually getting in momentum? How long does it usually take for like people to kind of like bring that down and just be in the moment and just like chilling out?
It probably takes, depending on the event and how I structure the beginning of the event, it can take probably 10, 15 minutes, maybe. If that, I usually just have to get them in a groove of some sort. So, volleyball, right off the bat, they're already hanging, they're already good. Painting, because there's a different kind of structure and we're talking
Yeah.
about the rules and what we're going to do and the process, it takes them a good 10 to 15 minutes just to relax and just be able to be. So I with those I give little I put a little paper on their stand, so when they sit down they already have kind of an assignment to interact with their neighbors to get the conversation going. But yeah, probably 10, 15 minutes to answer your question.
No, that's dope.
Yeah.
A lot of people say they want to build a community but
Uh-huh.
don't know how. So like I see that you're building these communities. Do you ever see like people like just reaching out to you like, hey, when's the next event? Or do you have like
Mhm.
reoccurring people that come to like almost all the events because they haven't found their person yet, but love making friends?
I do have a few repeat attenders, which I love. We hug every time, and we know I know them by name, which are fun. But uh, yeah, not a lot of them. There aren't a lot of repeaters, which is fine. My intent for these events not aren't necessarily to match you up with someone, to hook
Yeah.
you up with someone, for you to find your person. Like, I would love that if that's your goal, but that's not my intent. My intent is for you to show up, be social with a whole bunch of singles, feel comfortable in your skin, and learn how to be you. in those situations and get comfortable in being you in those situations. So then when you're ready to meet your person, you're ready.
You're right. I got
Yeah.
you. I got you. I
Yeah.
got you. And how do you? Because I see that since you're saying that the intention is not really to match somebody up, so I'm guessing
Mhm.
the intention is more to build a community, build a place where
Mhm.
people can feel comfortable. And how
Yeah.
important is that, like in this day and age where we're usually hooked on our screens?
Mhm. Well, it's like for personal experience, when I in 2013, my husband passed away,
My
and I
condolences.
was like, change. It just changed my life. I didn't have that anchor in my life anymore, and community is what saved me. Like my people. This is where I get emotional. So my people are what saved me.
Yeah,
And when I didn't have that anchor, and I started looking for my community and my people, and I started running races and attending events. And then one of the first kind of bigger communities that I built was a running community here in Ogden, um, because I couldn't find a running group. And I'm like, if I can't find a running group, I'm going to build one. And so I just started inviting people, and I created a Facebook group, and we started meeting every week, once a week. And it's still going, 14 years later.
fire.
So, as far as building a community and how important it is, like those are going to be your people who save you when you're down in your lowest times. Those are going to be the people who lift you up, or who you get to lift up. And I do believe that being vulnerable in those situations create a deeper connection for one, and allowing them to help you is a gift to them as well. So when I think about asking for help from my community, and them being there for me, as hard as it is for me to ask for help, asking for help is actually letting them do their job. Like that's why we have community, and that's why I'm part of a community, because I like to help people. I like to be there for people and support them. So I don't know. Did that answer your question? I don't know if that did, but
No, it was beautiful, and it definitely did because of the fact that you've like a lot of people don't see like the enrichment that happens when you actually are connecting with people. And
mhm,
I feel that helping people is a benefit not only to yourself, not only to them, but to yourself as well.
mhm,
And
yeah.
also it also builds this network that if you're down and out, they help you out as well.
Yeah, it goes both ways, and it's and the more vulnerable you can be with your community, and the more real and authentic you can be with your community, it will create a tighter community. For one, they keep coming back. They want to be there. They want to support you, and you want to support them. So it's actually, like, even if you build the community, it's even if I build a community, it's not about me. It's about the community as a whole. And I build it in a way that if I were to step away, it's still there. They still are there, and they still exist and support each other. So I think that is also an important aspect of building a
No,
community.
it definitely is because a lot of people could put on a fake persona online.
Mm-hmm.
But when
Mm-hmm.
you're there
Yeah.
and in person, you got to be you. You know what I mean? The real is gonna show. You know what I mean?
And they'll sense
And
it. They can sense it, your energy.
and then on top of that, when you're able to like open up to people, people open up to you, and it's just I don't know. I feel like that's just something that the world's really missing right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, just looking at times in my life where I've been able to speak out loud to somebody else, and not just in my computer, and not just hide on the apps, and not just play my games or whatever, kind of zone out. There's a release that can happen when you can share that energy with someone else, when you can see that they understand and they get you, and they're there for you, that you can't get online.
Definitely can't. And that's one of the biggest main topics of tonight is just how people should be stepping away from even though we're doing this virtually, and this
Yeah,
is the
I
irony
know,
of it.
right? If
This is the
I could be in
irony.
person, I would.
But yo, if I had the studio up and running again, I would be having it in person, and I would love for you to be here so we could vibe out,
Hmm.
right? But
Yep.
it's ironic that we're saying this while we're doing everything virtually, right? But
Yeah.
it is important. Like we see people being more isolated. We see people
Yes.
being, becoming incels. Becoming very solitary. Even down to like even on the good analogy is online gaming, right?
Yes. Oh my
You
gosh. Yes.
you buy a PlayStation, right? If
Hmm.
you said you're close to 40, I'm about the same age. I'm turning 37. So you probably
Uh-huh.
remember, N64 and PlayStation,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yep.
You were able
Sure
to play
do.
up to like you were able to play up to like four people on the
Uh-huh.
original consoles. But
I do
now
remember that.
but now everybody has to have their own console so they can play at home online.
Uh-huh.
So it's
And
like
you have a whole world,
yeah,
the whole world online.
yeah, the whole world online, but it's taken away that that experience of having you and a couple of your friends there just rocking out and just like talking trash to each other and just like having that
Hmm.
competitive moment. And where
Hmm.
I'm getting at is that we don't see that connection anymore, where things are bringing us together, and you're doing an amazing job doing it.
Yeah. I like with the gaming, a lot of it, you turn the game off, it's done. But
Yeah,
in person, you can't just turn it off.
no, you can't.
and and there's I think people who have spent so much time online, it makes them very uncomfortable in person because they're so used to that immediate, okay, I'm done, okay, we're back on, okay, we're done, that being in person, there's this uncomfortable thing that happens that if they have to address it, they have to address their own issues to make those relationships work too. So there's a lot of personal growth and a lot of just growth mentally, emotionally, that happens when you have those relationships
True,
that don't have to happen when you're playing online stuff.
yeah, or even just connecting through other forms, like through forums and like messengers. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like you have the ability to shut that off or control your
Hmm.
interaction time. With a
Yep.
real person is like, listen, my friend might be going through something and he might be with me all day long, and I might be like, yo, bro, like you've been with me for 14 hours, like I need to step away for a second. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's like, okay, I guess we're eating together, right? Yep,
Yeah,
we're doing it. We're
we're
hanging.
doing
It's
this.
fine.
You know what I mean? And it's sad to know that like the world's becoming like that.
It is. It is, and the misconnections. I feel really sad for those who are being raised. Like I was lucky to have a childhood where I was outside a lot, and
Yeah,
I could go knock on my friend's door at 7 o'clock at night and ask to play for a little while. But that just doesn't happen anymore. That can't happen anymore, and there's so much fear and anxiety around all of that. It's sad. It hurts my heart.
yeah. Like even around like my neighborhood, like I like the weather's getting better. Things are warming up. People at this point in time, people used to be outside all day, all night,
Yeah.
right? Now
Uh-huh.
you go outside like at 8 o'clock, you don't see anybody. You'll be there like, oh, everybody's home.
Yep. Doors are closed. Curtains are drawn.
Yeah,
Yep. Yep. It's definitely, I wish it could be that way, but and it's a whole nother thing. Like it's a whole different problem that we have because people are afraid of crime and all of the stuff that can happen after dark, and we never had that fear, we never had that worry when we were younger, and it's
yeah. But you're absolutely right. But now we're like so privy to so many things that are happening now. Like, and I've said this a lot, like a lot
uh-huh.
of the conspiracy theories that we thought were fake are becoming true. And you're there like, oh, I lived through that. Oh, I see.
Oh, that was real. I
That
didn't know that was
I
real.
I did not guess that one at all, bro. It's
Yeah.
just crazy. Um, so like through all of this, like what have you learned about people in general? Like through the events, through like their interactions, like what have you learned about like, people in general? And if you can you give us like different like details of like men versus women and all that?
Um, So I think one of the biggest things I've learned, and that I really try to address mostly, is the fear that people have.
Yeah.
And and when you're inside of that fear, you don't realize that the person across from you is actually inside that fear as well. They most likely are feeling the exact same way. When in reality, why are you afraid of me and why am I afraid of you? The fear is not necessarily invalid, but in many circumstances, it's a lie. It's fake. It's telling you lies about the situation and about what might happen. It's making up stories. So if people can get out of that fear and just kind of just let it go and just be with somebody or be with the group, then it does something to, I don't know. It causes a lot of growth, and it's you can see the change as soon as you can let that fear down go. Um, you can see them just open up and relax and be able to be who they need to be in the moment. And yeah, I think fear is one of the biggest things that one I have learned a lot when I was, I don't know, probably 17. I think I went through this thing called the forum, and it taught me, this is when my first switch about fear happened.
Yeah.
Was there was a speech about walking down the street and how a lot of people walk face down, right? They walk looking down, or they're looking at their phones, they're looking down, they don't make eye contact. And a lot of that is fear, like you make eye contact, oh, uncomfortable, right? But if you realize, if you change that fear to kind of excitement or appreciation, I started walking with my head up, making eye contact and smiling. I made that choice that I was not going to let my fear control me. I was not going to let someone else control who I wanted to be and what I was going to do. So from that moment, I started walking head up, make eye contact, and even smile. And it's amazing the difference that happens. People are startled at the smile oftentimes, but then they smile back and sometimes even say hello.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's realizing that everybody is afraid, and if you can understand that, then you don't have to be afraid. You don't have to be afraid of what they're thinking and what they're not thinking. It's really all about you, and just take it on.
No, and then the craziest thing about it is like, and I'm from New York, so I pass like a lot of people. I'm like on a daily basis, on a
Uh-huh.
daily basis. So it's weird. So it's weird when you're like walking on by and somebody says good morning to you. You're kind of like, hey, I don't
Huh?
know you, but you kind of go like, hey, good morning too, and then you're like, oh, somebody said good morning. That's weird, but it's awesome.
Yeah, yeah, and it gets you out of your head, gets you out of your whatever was occupying your time, because you weren't in the moment. You weren't taking advantage what is right here in front of you, and the amazingness that's happening right here in your life right now.
No, that's a fact. And a lot of
Yeah.
people need to like look up and smell the roses and just take it in sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, and that is a big part of these events is be in the moment, enjoy the moment, say yes to the experience, because that's how you're going to grow as a human. That's how you're going to grow in connection. That's how you're going to understand who you are and who you want to be. Um, when you say yes to experiences and you don't just have this automatic no, or you address why am I uncomfortable in this situation, understanding why I'm uncomfortable. Is it a fear thing? Is it valid? Do I really need to be uncomfortable, or can I get through this and make this more of a challenge myself to get through this uncomfortableness, to understand the why behind it.
No, it's true. You're absolutely correct on that. And a lot of people, I think that a lot of people base their like their fear on just like their own perceptions too,
Mhm,
and how they feel that other people are either thinking about how they're being thought of or being judged. When
mhm.
90% of the time nobody's really thinking in that manner. They're just like they're in their own head too. Like, oh shit, Am I on point too? You know
We're
what I mean?
making up all our own stories, really, and they're usually 100 times worse than reality. I will think, this person has it for me, has it out for me. They're doing this just to piss me off, when in reality, they have no clue. They aren't even aware I exist. But I'll take it personal, which isn't real. And
No,
you
but
asked earlier.
no,
Sorry, go
but
ahead.
you know, everybody does that though. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Especially when you're like in like a setting where you're not feeling too comfortable, you're there like, oh my god, all these eyes are on me. Oh my god, what do they
Uh-huh.
think about me? And mind you, nobody's really like paying attention to you like that. You know what I mean?
No, no, because they're paying attention to themselves like that. They're like, please
Yeah.
don't fall. And when you asked earlier the difference between men and women, it's kind of what I was saying, that men are afraid to look like fools. They're like they don't want to look bad as far as what they're doing. Women don't want to look bad as far as their appearance. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense.
Yeah, yeah. Men aren't as worried about how they look. Men are more worried about what they're doing and how they do it. And
Yeah,
women are more worried about, do I look pretty enough? Do I look good enough for
yeah. I
them?
think I think with guys is because of the fact that we kind of, like you said earlier, we don't want to look like fools, and we also don't want to, I guess, like start things off on a bad foot. Like we
Uh-huh.
want things to like, all right, cool, let's make this as smooth as possible. Even though fumbling up a little bit gets you the little bit of giggles, and you'll be like, all right, cool, I could work with this. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, that's what guys usually are. Is just like having that good start and making that first good impression, so you're not, labeled as, did you see that jerk that was there, or like, yeah, like he's weird. Let's get away from him, kind of thing.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, and I can see it, but oftentimes it's also that same thing of the stories we tell in our heads, right? I did this thing, or I hit, say we're at Top Golf and I hit a horrible swing, and of course the guy's going to be like, oh, that looked really bad because I messed up, and I know how to golf, so I shouldn't be hitting that way. But the girl's over there just hoping that she's not even paying attention to the swing. She's just hoping he looks back and makes eye contact. Like, so there's this this weird balance of, she's not noticing what he's doing. She just wants to be noticed. And he's afraid that she saw the bad shot.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So it's again those stories in our heads, that if we can let those stories go and just play.
That facts, and a lot of people have that fear to let that go and just. Maybe let me get your opinion on this. Do you think that
Okay.
people are afraid to be their authentic selves, like live and in person with people, or is it they want to live up to like an image that they are portraying?
I think both. I think both, because we are so inundated with how we should look and how we should be, that we don't even know who we are. We have this pedestal that's been given to us by, social media and everything, that this is how we should look, this is how we should act, this is how funny we should be, this is, all of the things that we should be, that we don't even focus on who we could be or who we are.
That's true.
There's just a lack of focus on understanding who we are and what we should be, and making that be okay, because the world would be a horrible place if we were all the same. For one, it would be horrible.
Yeah,
So I have the personality I have for a reason. So why not use it and just and let it be whatever it is? And if it attracts people, great. If it pushes others away, great. I'm not for them, and that's okay. So having who I am be okay. Like, this is who I am, and it's fine. I don't have to be that other person to be liked or to be wanted. And if they don't like me or want me, they're not for me. They're not supposed to be in my life. And it's not an anger thing. It's not a bad thing. It's just how it is. But that's the beauty of having personalities. That's the beauty of having individual people and different looks and different voices and different languages. Like, that's the purpose of it. It's the beauty of life.
yeah, where there's variety, there's beauty.
Hmm.
What,
Yeah.
what what does a real connection actually mean to you?
To me,
Yeah.
ooh, that's a good one. A real connection. There's different levels. I have like different levels of friendships, different
Yeah.
levels of connection. So I have my kids. That's a real connection. That is, they're they have to love me because I'm their mom, kind of. Um, but and there's blood family, and then there's not blood family.
Yeah.
And some people you can choose, and some people they're just there. I love my kids. We have a great relationship, but the real connection is not being afraid. I think not being afraid of how they're going to react to who you are.
Okay.
So I have a lot of friends that I know that I can show up and just be me. And I know that they're not going to judge me for it. They're just going to accept me as Molly. And I'm going to do the same for them. So I think that's where a real connection happens. And also, if I need them, I can go to them and they're not going to judge me for that either. If I feel like I screwed up, I messed up, I made a mistake, or that was really immoral, or whatever it is, I can go to them and say, hey, walk me through this. And they're not going to judge me, even though it may be a horrible thing that I just did. They're going to still walk me through it and sit down with me and understand and try to see my point of view. Um, so that would be the deep kind, but there's also the connections that are meant for a moment, which are still valuable and still appreciated, that still can touch your life in a certain way, that maybe it's just somebody doing something special at a grocery store. There's that kind of connection too, that they let you cut in line because you have a couple less things, or somebody paid for your coffee. Like there's so many levels of connection that are all valuable
Yeah.
and all magical.
I got you. Yeah, you're absolutely, and I feel you 110% because
Mhm.
connections can happen anywhere. They don't have to be there for your entire life. They could just be there
Right.
for a moment, and
Hmm.
it's amazing, and especially when you're able to connect with people and you're able to like do that on a constant level, and not have that fear that holds you back from connecting with people. It's amazing.
Yeah. 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 And it's looking up, making eye contact, and being in the moment whenever is possible. When you're at the grocery store, if you're, walking down the sidewalk, make eye contact, you say hello. If you're at a concert, it's actually talking to the person next to you, even if you don't know them. It's actually like enjoying this moment with this stranger, that we're both enjoying this amazing performance up on stage and we get each other. That is a connection that matters in my life, and that can totally enhance my life, even though I may never know their name.
True on that. And believe
Yeah.
me, I've been at roomies. I've been in festivals where connections were made, and I'm still, you know, talking to people, and I'm still connecting with them. I'm still, hanging out with some of them.
Mhm.
Shout out to my dude
Yep.
Jeff Chang, my guy.
Jeff Chang.
Yeah, Jeff Chang. He all right. So my best
Okay.
friend, I'll tell you the story. So
Yes.
my best friend, the person who I originally had started this podcast with, and also the father of my goddaughter,
I love it.
he had
Okay.
he's the one who put me on to like the rave culture and like the house scene and whatnot. So we went
Hmm.
to one of these big festivals called the Electric Daisy Carnival.
Okay.
There we had found, we ran into some people we were talking, mingling with, and then we had, met up with this guy. He was a lot younger than us, but he had snuck in with a fake ID, and he was like 16 at the time. So
Uh-huh.
it was just me and my best friend who went. So we got like adopted into like this group, and he was like he was like our little homie and shit. So ever since then, Jeff Chang has always been a ride or die guy for me, man.
I love that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I have a similar story. Another community building that just it a lot of it can come natural if you're open to it.
yeah.
So I have you heard of Ragnar? Ragnar is it's a relay running thing. that's
when I
been all
thought
over the United States.
once you said Ragnar, I thought North Vikings and
Viking,
Nordic.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was like, no, I
Yeah.
don't know what Ragnar is, but I kind of do. Maybe I'm in the right direction.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not.
No, they're this. It's a running company, and they put on relay races. So you get together a team of 8 or a team of 12, and you run like 200 miles, but you relay. So as
Damn.
a whole, you do 200 miles, but you may only run 15 total over a 2-day span.
Yeah.
So I used to run a lot of these, and I used to create teams. So you have to pay for a team of 12, and then I'd just throw it out to the universe saying, "Who wants on the team?" And I would take strangers. I would just take whoever, and then we'd make fun. We'd just have fun at it. And then, of course, these strangers have become lifelong friends. And like, I met somebody here at the Salt Lake one who took me to a Vegas one, who connected me with the Florida team. And here we go, 20 new friends, and several of them are very close friends now,
Yeah.
even after it's probably been, I don't know, 13 years since I first did that with them.
Yeah.
And they're still close. And it's because, one, I say yes, I let people into my life, and I follow that yes mentality of, yeah, I would love to join you on that adventure. And yes, I would love to do that with you. Or, yeah,
No, that's so dope because
more
it's
community.
it's it's funny how life works because like you wouldn't suspect at certain things like running or at a music
Hmm.
festival you would make a lifelong friend. You probably make
Hmm.
a connection right then and there, but a
Yeah.
lifelong friend you're not going in there with that intention, but you're leaving
Nope.
with something greater. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Especially if you can be open to it and let that fear, like, again, that fear, if you let that fear of, I don't know this person, so I'm not going to say hi, I'm not going to say anything, I'm not going to comment on what's happening because I've never talked to that person.
True.
But if you can drop that layer of fear and start just bantering back and forth about whatever's happening around you, you don't know what you can create. That could be
That's
your wife. That could be, who knows? That could be your sister's husband that you're talking to right now that you bring home, and you don't know, but it could
that is
be.
true.
And you have to
Life,
be open to that.
yeah, that's a big fact, and life is mysterious that way too. It works.
Mhm.
Life works in mysterious ways and connects you with the people that you need to be connected with. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
So if someone feels alone right now, right?
Mhm.
What's like a first step they should take to change all that?
If they're at home feeling alone right now, one, as uncomfortable as it may seem, call a friend. In just a phone call. Let's go out for tacos, whatever. One, reach out to someone. And like, if I was that someone, I would feel honored to be that someone that you trusted with this, whatever you're going through right now, whatever loneliness you're feeling, and you reach out to me, I would be honored. So I would say reach out to your friends, reach out to a friend, because as much as you don't want to be a burden, you're not going to be a burden. Because I feel like a lot of people, when they're in that dark space and when they're in that darkness, they're not feeling valuable. They're not feeling like they're worth anything. And they feel like they're a burden on other people when they're in that space. And so, yeah, I would say, kind of, as hard as it is, reach out to someone and let them know, hey, I'm struggling. I just need you to walk me through this.
Right.
I just need to talk through this. Or, hey, can we just go get tacos? I don't even want to talk about what I'm going through right now, but can we go get tacos? Can we go get a pizza? Like, just something. One move. Call somebody and say it.
That's a big fact. And before we
Mhm.
wrap everything up, I always
Mhm.
ask all of my guests this. And do you have any final thoughts, words of wisdom, or advice for the roomies?
Final thoughts. I'm just going to reiterate, let that fear go. Let that fear go. You will have a much better life. You will have much more exciting experiences. You will go places, you'll travel more, you'll do more things if you can just say yes and let that fear go.
True on that. True on that. And roomies, remember, happiness lives on the other side of fear. Feels a little
Yes.
better when you get tacos. Peace out.
Yes, I love that. Perfect.